Okay, no need to put any NRIC number because we don't want to keep your NRIC number. So I think, Alan, you may want to rename your name there. No need for any numbers. Okay. And then who else? Not sure if any of you haven't renamed your names yet, but that's important. And then we'll normally be taking a sampling of the class to see your NRIC. So for this class, you're 15. So I normally ask two people to go to a breakout room to just show me your NRIC. So only display it, no need for to type anything. Okay. And then some of the Zoom functions that you need to know about, mainly you need to, this is how you change your name as per your NRIC name. So just go to your name and then right click on it. And then other functions, of course, the mute, unmute, reactions, to give a thumbs up or raise your hand. These are some of the basic things, hopefully, that you learned to master during the pandemic. And then you have the chat functions. And then breakout rooms we'll be using every now and then. Again, depending on the situation. Sometimes there's no requirement for a breakout room. It's easier to do it as a whole group, because if there's a breakout room, I have to shift between two rooms at least. So sometimes I won't be in your room, and somehow you need to facilitate on your own. So if it's a common class a discussion group in the main room, it's easier for me to facilitate everyone. But yeah, in case you really need to discuss, we can have breakout sessions if the activity permits it. In case you need help on your Zoom, you can ask for help. That's a standard function in Zoom. And then in case you need to present after a breakout activity, you can present using the share screen function. Yeah. So normally it's a good practice to prepare something when you're doing your breakout room so you don't forget what you discussed. So normally now someone should be typing in all your discussions and summarizing it as bullet points, and then we present it afterwards. So you have to assign someone to do it in a breakout room. Now, during the class, these are some of the reminders again. Don't include your NRIC. We don't need your NRIC name number, only your name. Make sure you're fully visible on the camera. Once again, make sure your face is clearly seen, not just your forehead or your chin. Yeah. And again, this lesson is recorded as per the regulatory and funding requirements. Yeah. So I do try to remind you to also, make sure that you come in early. If not, probably 5 to 10 minutes early so that you can settle down and do some of the admin requirements. And this one, no need to send the last 4 characters. This is only when you have a problem scanning the, what do you call this? The QR code. Yeah. But no need in general. And then we also need to take the photo. So we did one just now, but we also need to do that later on because one of your classmates is still missing. In case he does come in later. And then, so we'll do two in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and all faces must be visible. Again, this is a requirement. It's not just for me. It's because of LHub and your funding. Yeah. So again, this is what we have. In case of breakout rooms, this is when I need to check and validate the 10%. So there's 15 of you. So 10% is 1.5. So normally 2 people. Yeah, so I need to request two volunteers to show their NRICs in a breakout room. Okay. So we did that just now. And for Learning Hub, so sit back and relax and watch our standard video. So prepare some popcorn and everything. Yeah. Okay. Wait, try to maximize this. Okay. Yes. Wait, sharing the sound. Wait.
Equip our workers with job-ready skills. We also
Every day,
Sorry, Yasmin, you were saying something? You have your hand raised.
Because you were guiding us on the principles for the photograph taking, and sometimes a few trainers they won't know lah. So I just let you know ahead. What I do is
Yeah.
during the day I take off my headscarf because it can get quite warm at home.
Okay.
So for that I need to switch off my camera.
Okay.
So you won't see me throughout the day, just sitting in front of the screen. So I mean, for comfort's sake, like I have to, I switch off my camera. So I don't want. Some trainers tend to get to panic because they have these requirements coming from and LHub and then SSG and then what we'll do to everybody and the trainers. So just like don't panic. I'm still here. I'll be participating in the course. You'll hear me. You'll see my reactions. When you need to take
but
pictures,
it's a
I'll
risk.
be there.
You see? So
Yeah,
the
but
thing is, I don't make the rules, so I can't
I
say
understand.
for
So
certain.
so basically NTUC or I mean they can follow up with me. I'm here.
Yeah,
I got a certain motivation to be taking these courses. So there's no hanky panky.
understand.
Okay?
Okay.
So don't worry if I'm not there or if you ask me, we're going to take the pictures now. I'm still there. I'm quickly putting it on and then you'll be able to take my picture.
Yeah, okay.
I just need a
I
buffer of about 30
understand.
seconds or so.
I understand. I mean, I'm okay, but again, you have to take it up with LHub and
No
the
problem.
funders.
I'll be
Okay.
responsible for that.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
But of course, for the photo taking, you need to be there.
Yes, I will be there. I just need a
Okay.
buffer. You want me? Okay, we're going to take a picture now and then. Okay, is Yasmin on already or not?
Okay.
Thank you.
So normally, just to know, we don't normally do it at the start of the class, or for example, after
Yes,
lunch,
that's standard.
and then after the break. So yeah, so
Yeah,
that's how
no problem.
I try to remember that I have to do all these things. Okay. So the
Thank
idea
you.
is that there's a sampling photo of your attendance. Okay. So let's continue with our video again. Sorry.
every day, we wake up to a world that keeps moving, growing, and progressing. Through learning, we aspire to uplift our workforce by shaping lives, transforming businesses, and igniting possibilities for everyone from all walks of life.
striving to be the heart of Singapore's lifelong learning culture, we believe upskilling unlocks opportunities for both workers and companies. While we continue to build our capabilities to equip our workers with job-ready skills, we also strive to identify future skills so that we can create new talent pools for Singapore and beyond.
We partner with world-class experts to bring high-quality training content to our learners. We've supported over 26,000 organizations and achieved more than 2.6 million training places in courses ranging from entrepreneurship to data analytics, soft skills to deep tech, helping workers and companies upskill and reskill to remain resilient in adversity and changing times.
After 15 years of flying as a cabin crew, I could no longer recall how to use Excel when I became a COVID-19 contact tracer. I took up an Excel course with NTUC Learning Hub to refresh and upgrade my knowledge. I saw the value in upskilling and took up other tech courses such as Agile, automations, and Python. Equipped with job-ready skills, I secured a role as a finance business partner back in the financial world.
For 15 years, I worked as a graphic designer, most recently in a travel agency. Then I lost my job in the pandemic. I struggled to land another job and took up the UI UX program with NTUC Learning Hub to expand my skill set. I was surprised to see how much the industry has evolved in the last 15 years. And there are so many new skills I can acquire. With new knowledge, I was able to secure a role in a tech agency as a UI UX designer.
We assist employees in driving growth and progression through our train and place and train programs, career advisory, and on-the-job training while adopting a lifelong learning culture through NTUC Learning Hub's very own Learning Experience Platform, or LXP.
Workers are at the heart of what we do. With the training solutions we offer, we aim to have better workers, better jobs, and better companies working within the labor movement, we are in a unique position to do so by transforming how people learn, lead, and grow. Anyone can transform their lives through learning. With us, your trusted partner in lifelong learning.
And from here, make sure you attach to your internal network, not NAT or not to your bridge adapter. Because if you remember, we are going to use internal network.
So I hope you enjoyed
After that, click on OK.
video.
So I'll just click on the start button, and now the installation process will begin. Leave everything as default and just click on next and click on install now. Now the setup is starting. Go with custom install Windows only
NTUC
option.
group
After that,
offerings. Not sure if there's still the promotion there, if they still have it, but yeah, so you can check out these things for UTAP, for LXP. LXP is like your LinkedIn Learning. You have an app that you download, and then you can get different courses on it. Of course, it's subscription based, so you can take a look. And so this is a little bit about me. So I've been doing training for around 15 years or so now. Yeah, so I need to update this. And then basically I also been in the IT management and cybersecurity space for over 30 years. Yeah, this gives you a little bit idea of my age. I started off with SAP and ERP implementations, project management, and IT audit has been what I took up as well, especially when I joined the KPMG. I was also with Accenture last time for some of their projects, and I'm a member of IC Squared ISACA. I'm currently the VP of IC Squared Singapore, and I'm also doing some board roles at the Spark, CIO Academy, ITMA. I'm a member of ITMA, SES, and currently with SID as well, Singapore Institute of Directors. Hobby-wise, yeah, basically I'm very much into most sports, but more recently I took up Dragon Boat again because of my love for the sea and the sun. Yeah, so I also volunteer and picked up a couple of these awards along the way. So that's my photo together with the IC Squared CEO Global. And then, of course, now we have a new CEO, Claire. And yeah, so these are some of the things that I have. Hopefully, you'll also be able to, pick up something during this next few days. And I hope to also learn from you. So it's not just a one-way street. So normally I pick up some of these things as well from my learners when I actually teach. So that's what I love about teaching. Yeah. So it's not just about teaching. It's also about learning in general. Okay. So now it's your turn. So let's keep it quick. Let's start around. So just share with me your name, your company right now, your role, some of your sports and hobbies, and the reasons for joining this course. And if you know something about cloud computing or audit, yeah, because sometimes that's challenging for me. If some of you don't know much about these things, then I have to really handhold you. So let's start with Sek. Maybe you can share something about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a solution engineer looking for more options in IT right now.
Okay. And what do you do in your pastime?
I'm a photographer and a gamer.
Wow, which games?
I play FPS mostly, so competitively also.
Wow, part of a Singapore team that you have?
Not now.
Not
Too
now.
old already.
Okay, thanks for sharing, Sek. And why did you join this course? Aside from wanting to learn more things about IT, because there's so many courses, right? Why specifically this course?
No, because I deal with solutions and architectural, so I want to learn more about IT audits.
Okay, good. Thank you very much for sharing. So again, this is a cloud course. So the cloud audit is the focus, but of course, you need some background in IT as well. Thank you very much, Sek. Now we have our friend Ghazali. Okay, why only now, Ghazali? So, yeah, you missed a few pointers earlier. I need you to make sure that your name is as per your NRIC name. So change your Zoom name. Sorry, guys, we have to accommodate our friend. So change your Zoom name as per your NRIC name. I think you're on the move, Ghazali. So once we do that, I need you to scan your attendance as well. I think I have your attendance somewhere. Where is it? QR code. Did I close it just now? So I need you to scan your attendance. Can you do that, Ghazali?
Attendance all scanned already. Yeah.
You scanned this one already?
Yes, correct.
Okay, let me just double check, huh?
Okay.
So again, do try to come in early. Let me just double check.
Sorry for the late because I just end work, so yeah.
Okay, no worries. But yeah, if you can pop by, even though you're at work, just so that we can clear this. Yeah, okay. So you're on a night shift, is that it?
Morning. So I do early
morning.
about 5:30, yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Everyone's in. Then I can submit this already. So again, rename your Zoom name as per your NRIC name, and we'll take a quick photo again so that your nice face is there, Ghazali. Okay. Let me set up Zoom so that I can take a nice photo of all of you again. Is everyone here? 1, 2, okay, 16, so that's 15. Okay, let's take a quick photo. 1, 2, 3. Say NTUC. So make sure your face is clearly seen. Okay. Ghazali, is that your NRIC name? You change your Zoom name already?
Just accept for with the Muhammad only. Just
yeah, you have to make it exactly, otherwise they'll have a hard time matching your name. Why don't you do that now? Yeah, so that we take another photo.
Fine, it's okay. The NTUC knows this because this is the 4th week we're taking the course, so shouldn't have a problem.
Okay. I'm just reminding you guys to do that because that's their requirement. Okay. Let's do it again. Save it now. Okay. So let's go ahead. So we stopped at SEC. So let's go to Lam. Kindly share about yourself.
All right. Company. I stopped work from and stopped working in the corporate world for the last 5 years already. Right, and doing some investment on my own. So
nice.
Yeah, that's sports and
local,
hobbies.
Singapore or global?
US.
US either. Okay.
It's some sort of retirement kind of thing lah. Anyway, sports. I go for walks with groups, and I like to watch movies a lot.
Netflix or the
Netflix and sci-fi or whatever you have, thrillers. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, thanks for sharing. And why you should go for this course now that you're semi-retired?
After out of the corporate world for quite a few years, I thought it's interesting to learn something, and I've always been on the other side of the audit because I've been IT management before.
Right.
So yeah, then I thought, wait, why not this? And if I can do some of auditing, I don't mind doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Always good to learn. Lifelong learning, right? Thanks a lot, Lam. Then we have Razib.
Yeah, I'm in the IT industry for over 25 years in the services sales part. I've done a lot of sales in the cloud space as well. I was even in the cloud business even before cloud was a cloud. So, so the reason I'm interested in this course is because I'm very familiar with cloud. I know I sell a lot of cloud services from all the different cloud suppliers. I just want to know more about auditing it because I want to focus my my specialty towards IT auditing. So that's why.
Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot. Pastime, hobbies. Yeah.
In my free time, I'm a collector.
Oh, which ones do you collect?
I collect dust.
Are you sure dust? Everything that can collect dust.
Yeah, collect dust. I just lie down and collect dust.
Oh, you okay? Okay. Thanks for that. That's unique. How about Chi Heng? Yeah.
Hi, my name is Chi Heng. Well, I run an IT firm as well as some childcares. So I'm here to pick up some skills. Hopefully to find a way, to do something lah. And my passion is really children and counseling, a bit of counseling job lah. Yeah.
Which childcare is this? Yeah. I may have sent my kids last time.
I run Caris Montessori.
Caris, okay.
Yeah. So we have 4 outlets all operating in a religious place.
Right.
So I'm here just to I think it's very exciting world that we're going into. So this course gives me a breath of what is to come. And in little ways, I think I can always bring back it is a perspective lah. I would say, how these new norms coming in. Though it's IT audit course, but I really learn a lot from this course. Now we're going to cloud, how to audit a cloud. So it's very abstract to me, but I hope to gain some insights on things are not be so physical. It's a lot on cloud based. Then how then do we protect our assets, etc. in the cloud now? So I think it's really an eye opening for me in these sessions. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thanks a lot for that, Chi Heng. Now we have TU.
Yes, hello. Yeah, I'm a ISO auditor for more than 15 years.
Wow, okay.
So reasons for attending this course is that I do not have any IT background. So I think this course will be something that I can start off with lah.
Okay, sure.
More about the IT stuff. And my hobbies are actually soccer, sports, running.
Okay, good. So you watched all the Man U.
No, I'm a Liverpool fan.
A Liverpool fan. Okay.
Right.
So they were here also, right? A few weeks back.
But I didn't go.
Oh, you didn't go for that.
Yes,
oh,
right.
A shame. Okay, thanks for sharing.
Right.
Is it Kiyu or Liu?
Yeah, Kiyu is my name.
Kiyu is your name.
Is Liu. Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Right, thanks.
Now let's go to Isa. Isa.
Yeah, hi. My name is Lisa. I've been in the oil and gas industry and some of the building construction industry for more than 10 over years, and I was an ISO auditor also.
Oh, okay.
I would like to explore more in IT related courses, so that for my learning curve.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what do you do in your pastime aside from your learning curve?
I would like to go traveling. I would like to watch movies.
Yeah, but something
Same
similar
as a
with the
normal person
Razim,
would do.
with the lamb as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Lisa. Yeah. How about Shule?
Hi, yeah, I'm Shule here. So I have more than 20 years experience in IT, more on project management, outsource project, call center, all the customer engagement project, working with vendor. Yeah. So the reason why I'm here, more on upskilling, to know more on the auditing, because my area I've been audited, so I want to learn more.
Know how to navigate the auditors, eh?
Yeah, and I know learn something. So and my hobby, I love shopping. So yeah, sometimes just pop by to JB and do a ad hoc shopping, then come back.
Okay, that's a good pastime, but quite dangerous on the credit card.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Yule.
Thank you.
Now let's go to Yao Heng. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Yao Heng, and then I don't have any IT background. I've been taking some IT courses lah. And then previously I was in the Air Force for a long time, and then I went into day trading, and then more recently I was a facilities operations manager, and right now I'm looking to pursue a career in IT lah, or IT audit also can.
Also can. Okay, so how did the day trading come along?
It was good for about 5 years, and then not so good. So
okay, you have to lay low for a while. Huh? Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Anything else that you do aside from day trading?
Usually I like to play mahjong. Yeah.
Mahjong. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I used to play a lot of soccer, but my knees are not so good right now, so no more.
So now the elbows, huh? You have to exercise the elbows instead of the knees.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Yao Heng. How about Michelle?
Yes, good morning.
Good
Okay, I was
morning.
previously in client service field. Not that interested. So I'm taking this course basically to see if I can move somewhere into like IT audit. So because I had a bit of I wouldn't say audit experience, but my company wasn't audited. So there was something on the IT part which seems quite interesting. So that's why I'm here to see if I can, move into IT audit.
Okay, that's good to know. And what do you do in your pastime?
Pastime, I go jogging, I go biking, and I read a lot.
Okay, that's great. Good stuff. So what is the last book you read?
Actually, I read a lot of Chinese novels.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks for sharing, Michelle. Now we go to Yasmin.
Morning, Paulo.
Morning.
Okay, let's see.
Too many things to share.
Yeah, too many to share. So basically, I've been on a career transition program the last few years.
Okay.
Since before COVID. So I managed to move from business IT functions to more on the project management and the Scrum Master side. So one of the reasons I've taken up this course is to widen my knowledge. IT auditor. I don't see myself going into a specific IT audit role. I don't know how things will pan out, but I am interested in picking up the knowledge. So I noticed just now you are also an SCS member. I've also signed up for SCS recently.
Yeah,
that's the Singapore Community Society, right?
Yes, that's Singapore Community Society.
I signed up back in last month, July. So I made use of the
Welcome. Yeah.
prorated. So now I'm gonna see what else I can learn here. Whether signing up as SICA is worth my time or my effort, or But I am. One of the reasons when I'm into SCS because I want to pick up all this knowledge and sharings that are happening outside of workplaces.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much you can learn within a workspace. There's still a lot.
Precisely.
There's still a lot being done outside of it. So that's what I'm interested in right now. So I mean, because my work, I want to be able to. I don't have technical knowledge. I mean, I don't have the deep tech knowledge. So if I have an awareness and understanding of all this, I can at least help my teams next time or whoever I'm working with.
Okay, good. Thanks a lot, Yasmin.
That's my main motivation. Yeah.
But so aside from learning, you do anything else like hobbies or
between work and house and not much time for hobbies.
Not much time.
Yeah. So now my time is being taken up by these courses.
I see. So this is your hobby. Taking up all the courses is your hobby.
Yeah, hobby.
Okay, thanks a lot, Yasmin.
Well, it's useful, yeah. Thank you.
Of course, yeah. So we decide what we want to do with our time. Thanks a lot. Now, Alan.
Yeah, hi, I'm Alan. Actually, I'm doing IT consult. The reason why I'm taking this course is because I want to gain new inside knowledge. Then what I do on my free time, I'm trying to build up multiple domains. One of the domains I'm working on is health and fitness. I just got my FitMoa trainer certifications.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you focus on anything? What do you plan for your health and fitness? Do you want to coach or?
No, I just trying to gain more knowledge. Try to build a few domains. So I'm also a CPT, I'm also a nutrition specialist. Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's about it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Alan. And we have Seng Kwong. Yeah, I can't see you, by the way. So you're behind the door, but this is a virtual door, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's good. So did you have your Kali set up there? Okay. Oh, badminton. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I used to play a lot of badminton. Yeah, yeah, that's good. Okay, maybe you can play one of these days. Thanks a lot. And now we go to Rajesh.
Hello, I'm Rajesh. I'm currently an undergrad in
undergrad. Okay.
yeah, in
Where?
computer science and cyber forensic. I'm on my term break, so I took up the this course just
Which
to
school?
Murdoch Uni.
Oh, Murdoch Uni. Okay.
Yeah.
Murdoch. Murdoch.
Yes.
Okay. So it's like a what do you call this, correspondence course? Is it with what do you call this? I forgot the name. Murdoch Uni has a counterpart here, right?
No. This is I took up this on my own initiative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So what do you do mostly now that you're on a break?
As of now, I'm just like work out, read literature books, and play MMO games.
Okay. Which one?
Click on next, and now
MMO.
it will start the installation
Yeah,
process.
but which
Here
one
you can
is this?
see it
There's
has
so many,
started to
right?
copy the Windows file.
yeah,
Then it will start the
Diablo,
installation
RuneScape,
process.
Oh, Diablo.
It will
Okay,
take
okay.
a little
Favorite,
bit
one
of
of my
time, so I'll
favorites.
just
Okay.
cut this one
Good.
out,
Thanks a
and I'll
lot
see
for
you after
sharing,
we are done with this
Rajesh.
step. And now it is starting the
Next is
services.
Victor.
Now we need to select our region. I'll go with United
Oh,
States,
hello.
and I'll click on yes.
Hi,
Okay,
I'm
now
Victor.
here, instead of signing in with Microsoft, I'll just
Company
click on
role,
domain
I'm
join
currently a
instant.
freelance
And now here,
massage
you have to give
therapist.
your name,
Then
and you can
for
have anything.
hobbies
I'll just name
wise,
it as Zubair, and after that, I'll
just
just click on next.
finding
Here,
time.
you can have your password, and in
Right now
case
I'm
if you
doing
want to ignore
several
it, you can
courses
do so.
at the same
I'll
time.
go with the password,
Wow.
click on
Okay.
next.
Yeah.
From
I'll confirm
massage
my
to other
password.
IT,
Again, click
IT
on
audit,
next.
cloud
And here
audit.
you can go
Yeah,
with the
trying to
security
trying to
question.
do
So
lesser
I'll
massage
select
actually
some
because
of the
it's
questions,
quite
and I'll go
as
with
in
some
if you
random
want to
values.
earn more then have to
Click
do
on
more
next.
physical. So I'm
Then for
trying
second
to
question,
do
again,
more
I'll
soft
go
skill
with some
stuff.
random answers.
Yeah. So
Click on
reason
next.
and objectives for
And for the
attending this
third one,
course would
again, I'll select the
be
top question. And in terms of answer, I'll
it's
again
more
go
of a
with
career
random
switch.
values.
Yeah.
Click
I
on
see, I
next,
see.
Trying
and
to
we are good to go with our
Okay.
account.
Thanks
And
a
now
lot,
it will
Victor.
finalize
And how
things
about
related to our
Yasmin?
account,
Are you
and
there?
then it will move ahead. And now
Did
from here,
I
in
call
terms
Yasmin
of the
just now? I
privacy
called Yasmin
setting,
already, right?
I'll turn
How
off
about
everything
Ghazali?
from here, because I do not want anything,
Hi,
and it all
for me, I
up
just
to
do
you
some
that how you want to
freelance
go
and
with your
also
system
previously
in
from
your
Wood and
respect.
Heights. And
After that, just click on
I have
accept.
no
And
IT
now,
experience,
in terms of
so I just
Cortana,
joined
it's
this
all up to
course
you if you want to accept
because I
it or you
see
ignore it.
look
I'll
like
go
they
with
say
not
there's
now,
some sort
and
of
we are done with almost
in
everything.
terms of like
And now it
Singapore
will
needs of
finalize
IT
everything,
auditing,
and then
so
it
why
will
not, right?
start
So
our Windows
just
10
jump
in our
into it.
VirtualBox. So we are back
Okay,
here, and our
good.
Windows 10 have been
Anything that you
installed
do in your pastime?
successfully, and it has the internet access as well.
Most likely
Now I'll search
workout
for
lah.
command
Yeah,
prompt.
Workout.
So I'll write here
yeah.
So
command,
you can
and
be
here it
khakis
is.
with Rajesh.
So I'll
Yeah,
just click
okay.
on it, and in here I'll write the
Okay,
command
thanks,
as
Ghazali.
ipconfig,
Did
and
I
let's see
miss
what do
anyone?
we get
Anyone
as
else who
result.
haven't
If I
called?
enter, so here we can
I
see
called
that
everyone
we have
already.
IPv4
I saw
address
some
as
switching of the camera.
172.168.100.
Okay, so if I
That
called
was
everyone
our
already,
starting
let's
IP address, if you
proceed.
remember. And
Thanks
here
for
we
sharing,
have the
everyone.
default
I mean, it's good to
gateway
know.
with the IP
Now it's
address
your
that we have
new
used
network
when we
of
were
friends.
creating
I
our
guess you know
internal
each other
network,
already
our
for the
internet
past
as well.
few
Here it says
modules. So now we're going to talk about CCAK.
172.168.0.1.
So
It means it is working pretty
certificate in
fine.
cloud auditing
Now, if I
knowledge.
write here ping
And
space
aside from this, from Isaka, of course, is the one who prepared the certification.
And here you can see we are getting the response from the Google as well, and we are getting all the packets and all the requests that we are sending in response. So our network is up and running, and we are successfully using it as well. Now
So
I'll close my
exam
command prompt,
itself.
and here what
So
we
we're
need to
taking
do,
this
we
course
need to
as
change the
a
system name.
preparation
So
for
I'll
the
go to my
CCNK
system and I'll change
certification.
the name,
If
and
you
I
want to
will
go for
also
that.
join
So
the
there's an
domain
exam that
that
you
we
need to
have
take.
created earlier as mydomain.com. So let the settings
in general,
open,
these are the
and if you scroll
domains that we're
down, we have
covering.
one option that
So
says
the 9
rename this
domains are
PC.
there, and the
Leave it as it
weightages.
is.
The
Scroll
exam
down
itself
further,
will be
and here it says again,
2-hour
rename this
exam.
PC Advanced.
It's
I'll click
remotely
on this
proctored, and then there
new,
are 76
and after
multiple choice
that,
questions.
name your install now.
To
Now
pass it, it's 70% passing. And then, so the weightage will be based on the domains that are prioritized. So highest is this cloud compliance program. So there's basically trying to also make sure that you're compliant with all the regulations out there. Then you have cloud governance, which is next in the weightage, and then you have cloud auditing, and the rest, probably the 12% is CCM and CAIQ, how to use it, and then the rest will be the lower percentage, but still important. So you have the evaluating a cloud compliance program, auditing controls, assurance and compliance, threat analysis, and the STAR program, just for your knowledge as well. Yeah. So again, just take a look at this website. I'll put the link in the chat so that you can just take a look. It's good to let's learn more about it anyway. Okay. How is that pasting? There you go. So you can just take a look at the website, find more about this exam. But for this course, there's also an assessment. Again, the assessment is scheduled tomorrow afternoon. It's more from the funding perspective. So they require you to take an assessment just to make sure that you learn something from this course. So the assessment for tomorrow is quite simple. It's 1 hour. There are 2 sets. So the first set is 30 minutes. The second set is another 30 minutes. Requirement is to pass it 100%. So that's the funder's requirement. But to pass it, first of all, it's open book, so not to worry. So hopefully you have all your materials already with you. Plus, you may need to download, some of the CCM and the CAIQ that's available. So that one is more on the CSA reference so that you can use the tools. And then for, in case you don't meet the 100% the first time around, there's an oral recovery, we call it. So I'll be taking you in one-on-one just to see if you can answer the questions with additional guidance. Okay, so that's the oral recovery portion. Okay, so there's 15 of you. So assuming 15 minutes or 10 minutes per person, that's like almost 2 hours already. So it will take a while to actually do oral recovery if everyone has to do oral recovery. So maybe sometimes some people will take only 5 minutes if they have less mistakes. So try to make less mistakes. Just that's why the book is open book. You have to also read up in advance if you actually have time to do so. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Where is that? So this is it basically from this perspective. Oh, well, yeah, before I forget, there's one more thing I need to show you. I think it's in the other website. Oops, this is the other class. And just open up the other video. So there's another video you need to see. Again, just to summarize the course based on the requirements. Just pull it out. Yeah. Is that on working? Okay, this is the learners welcome video. Okay, this is again a recap, especially for Ghazali, who came in a bit late. So just sit back and relax.
Welcome to NTUC Learning Hub SSG funded course. You are embarking on a meaningful journey in upskilling. The course that you have signed up for is funded by the Skills Future Singapore, or SSG for short. As it is a funded course, there are several rules and regulations as well as must-do procedures to follow. Firstly, turn on your webcam at all times. Your face must be clearly and fully visible in the middle of the frame. Also, ensure that your Zoom display name matches your full name as in NRIC. If they do not match, please change your display name in Zoom after this presentation. You may be marked absent if these rules are not followed. Secondly, recording of the Zoom meeting is prohibited. Thirdly, we recommend using headphones or earpiece for better audio quality in learning and communication. Mute your microphone unless you're speaking. This ensures that environmental sounds do not disrupt the lesson. Lastly, do dress appropriately for this class. Do follow the usual dressing etiquette as you would during physical classroom lessons. Avoid wearing singlets in class. Now, we shall cover the procedures that we must follow for this funded course. Attendance taking. Attendance will be taken twice every day. Once in the morning and another time in the afternoon. During attendance taking, you will need to provide your full name and the last 4 alphanumeric characters of your NRIC to your trainer. You will do this through a private Zoom message to your trainer to keep your data confidential. 10% of learners will be randomly selected for further verification. For this 10%, the trainer will have to cite the physical NRIC card for identity verification. This will be done in private breakout rooms. Gallery photo taking. Gallery photo taking involves the trainer capturing the photo of all trainees in gallery view in Zoom 4 times a day. Twice in the morning and twice in the afternoon. Make sure that your face is clearly visible and identifiable in the frame. Course assessment. You are allowed to take the course assessment only when you have achieved at least 75% attendance. If you have missed any portion of the class, you must request for a make-up first before attempting the assessment. All attempts on the assessment without at least 75% attendance will be voided. If you have met the attendance requirement, you can proceed to do the assessment. As of SSG guidelines, you will need to achieve a 100% score to be deemed competent. If you do not meet this 100% score, a process called oral recovery will allow for a second chance to achieve a competent status. In the oral recovery, learners will be questioned orally to assess competence. The trainer will conduct the oral recovery in the main Zoom room. In the acknowledgement step, the trainer will inform you on your competent or not yet competent status, and you will be required to acknowledge back. This is to ensure that you are informed of your final results for the course. If this is a WSQ course, there is an additional step of completing the IAR form. Lastly, you are required to participate in a course evaluation process, where you give ratings and feedback pertaining the course. This is done online and will take up less than 10 minutes. And that's it. We are done. But before we end this briefing, let us do a quick recap of the important points. First, make sure your webcam is always on and you are clearly centered and visible. Also make sure your Zoom display name matches your name as in your NRIC. Second, attendance taking will take place twice a day. Thirdly, gallery photo taking will be done 4 times a day. All this will be carried out every day of your course. On the last day of your course, you will have to do a course assessment. Only attempt it if you have at least 75% attendance. You need to achieve 100% score to be marked competent. In the case where you do not achieve that, you will have the oral recovery as a second chance to be deemed competent. Once that is done, the trainer will inform you of your final result, and you will have to acknowledge it. If the course you are taking is also a WSQ course, an additional step of filling up the IAR form will be conducted. Lastly, you will rate the course by filling up a course evaluation online form. All this will be done on the last day. With this briefing you are now ready. Thank you for your attention and have a great day of learning ahead.
Okay. Hopefully you caught that, especially Ghazali. So as a recap, again, the only thing that's you don't need to follow here is a NRIC number, so you don't have to send me any NRIC number, okay? Not even the last 4 digits. Okay, so with that, let's show you now the lesson plan for the next 2 days. So we need to catch up a little bit because we're running behind schedule. So this is basically the first topic that we're going to discuss will be on cloud governance. And then we have a tea break. I think tea break is coming up in a while. Normally tea break will be at 10:30. Lunch will be here scheduled for 12:30, but we can have it earlier if you want. So do you want to have 12 o'clock? Is everyone okay with having lunch at 12 o'clock so you don't miss out on the queues or what? Do you prefer 12:30 or 12 o'clock? Is everyone okay with 12 o'clock lunch? Yeah. So I'll set it at 12 o'clock then, huh? Okay. So if there are any
What time do you expect to end for the day then? Is it at 5 or 6?
6 is the planned schedule. 9 to 6. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So normally for the assessment, it might overrun, depending on. Hopefully we don't, but yeah, I'm just saying it might because of the oral recovery. So normally what I do is first come, first serve. So if you finish your assessment first, you'll be the first in line for oral recovery, if ever. That will be tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. So there's lunch at 12. So instead of 12:30, and then we'll have tea break at 3:30. Okay. So around there. So again, depending on the flow of our discussions, and we end at 6 for day 1, and day 2 might extend beyond 6 depending on the assessments. So module 2. So for module 1 is cloud governance. We'll cover module 2 after lunch. Hopefully we don't take too long. So this is why we also need to pick up the pace a little bit. But at the same time, of course, we have still have the discussions. We still have the activities. And then if you have a lot of questions, maybe we can reserve the questions during the breaks. So let's say, for those who want to have some questions, we can do the Q&A during lunch or after 6 o'clock, yeah, or even during the tea breaks if you want. This is so that you don't disrupt the flow of the discussion, and that we can guarantee that we can cover the materials that are there. Okay. And then for module 3, we'll cover CCM. So again, there's a couple of modules. Hopefully we can cover until module 4 today. So that's a minimum requirement. If we don't, we have to catch up tomorrow, and also continue with module 4, module 5, which is evaluating a cloud compliance program. Okay, and then also module 6 on cloud auditing. And 7 will be the auditing controls. And then also continuation in the afternoon. And module 8 is continuous assurance and compliance. So the reason why I want to do a fast and fun kind of discussion is because I want to leave more room for the assessment for you guys. Yeah, because the assessment is technically 1 hour, right? But the problem is there's 15 of you. And as I mentioned, it takes around 10 minutes normally for an oral recovery. So 10 minutes times your 15 of you will be more than 2 hours. Yeah. So that's why with this one-on-one, I can't do it at the same time. Yeah. So you have to get one person in, and then do the oral recovery, and then the rest have to wait. So the last person will be the one who will be waiting the longest. So that's the only thing there. Of course, you can do other things while waiting. It's just that there's that gap that you can't really log out from the call, right? Okay, so hopefully that's clear. So if you find that we're trying to manage the time so that we can still complete the materials and have the proper assessment. Okay, excuse me. Any questions so far? Yeah, so it's all written question. It's not multiple choice, but again, it's open book, so you get the answers from your text, your book, and of course the other materials that you have as part of your requirements. Especially, for example, for CCM and CAIQ version 4, you need to download a copy of that. Okay, it's on the the CSA site. I can send you the link as well. Okay, and with that, let's start. You want to take a 1-minute break before we start our lessons? Let me just pull out the slide as well. So the rest can take a quick break, 1 minute, and come back for the lesson proper. Hey. Excuse me. Okay, everyone back? Excuse me. Okay, let's start. So, yeah, so CCAK is the Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge. It's one of the ISACA courses to help prepare you for the certification. Okay, it's also developed in collaboration with the Cloud Security Alliance, or CSA. So they have also done this collaboration with ISC Squared. So aside from ISACA, there's the CCSP for ISC Squared. So CCAK is the one for ISACA, focusing on audit. If you want the security professional, cloud security professional, yeah, you can go for the CCSP from ISC Squared. Of course, CSA itself, the Cloud Security Alliance, also has its own CCSK. Yeah, so that's another certification you can look at. So this course in general is to provide you with the knowledge on cloud security assessments, the different methods and techniques that are there, and also to assist you in updating your expertise, right, in cloud and hybrid security auditing. So the thing is, it might be challenging for me to teach even some of the basic IT stuff. So I hope you can read those things on your own, especially those totally new to IT. Yeah. So the way I can describe cloud in layman's terms is basically outsourcing your IT to someone else. Okay, but of course it's more than that. There's a lot of things you need to do because it's based on a subscription model. So similar to how you subscribe to certain services. So cloud is no different. They have their own subscription methods. Okay, so let's say for those using, actually most of you would probably be using cloud already. If you're using YouTube, or social media, Facebook, these are actually cloud solutions. Okay, cloud services that are provided for free most of the time. Actually, it's not really for free. So if it's for free, then you're the product. You're the one they're selling. Yeah. So all your data. So but you definitely clicked on the agree button. So that's what they have on you. They're trying to learn more about you so they can, connect all their sponsors or the advertisers to your accounts so that they can see which ones are more relevant for you. Okay, so again, these are basically cloud services. You subscribe to them, and then of course, in the whole scheme of things, not just the IT portion as well, the hardware, the infrastructure. There's a lot of things that are being offered already as a service. So we'll get into that later on. Okay. So these are some of the focus areas. The core areas will be the cloud governance, compliance, auditing, assurance, and the tools. And of course, we have 9 modules in this course, which will basically be taking up throughout the 2 days. Again, it's a joint project. Okay, of course, they also use subject matter experts. I've also been involved in some of these course preparations and exam writing, not specifically to CCAK, but other courses. Yeah. And then in terms of preparing, basically you want to have this expanded material and hands-on exercises. You can get those extra materials and exercises, of course, from ISACA. But in general, you need to also learn on your own. Basically, you need to read a lot on cloud. So again, this course is just assuming that you have cloud background, you have some IT background, some auditing background as well. But if totally none, then I have to handhold you to a certain extent. Yeah. And then it's divided into 9 modules, which I mentioned. So we'll get into that later on. So module 1 is cloud governance. Module 2 is on cloud compliance program. Module 3 is CCM and CAIQ. Again, these are the tools provided by CSA normally. Now there's a version 4, so we'll be focusing on version 4. So it's basically just merging the CCM and CAIQ. And then module 4 is the threat analysis methodology. Module 5 is evaluating a cloud compliance program. How do you make sure that you can find out, which cloud compliance program is proper, and what is the governance around it? Yeah. And then you have a cloud auditing, which I think some of you are very interested in. So how do you audit? What are the audit standards you can use and build upon, right? So because a lot of times these are only templates, right? So you still have to tweak it as per your requirements. Yeah, and then you have the auditing controls that are there. CCM is mostly the reference, the cloud controls matrix. And then you have the continuous assurance and compliance for module 8. So this is on the development side of things, the software development. So you have DevOps and DevSecOps. So basically, that's a mixture of your development, security, and operations, right? So normally these fronts are different groups are normally at odds with each other. So put them all together, and hopefully they get to work well together. And then you have the STAR program on module 9. So this is the STAR registry and the different certifications. You have a level 1, 2, and 3. And that's it for the modules. So these are the course outcomes. And we want to demonstrate key concepts of the cloud governance and the role of assurance, transparency, and accountability in the cloud. So the rest you can read on your own. But the idea is basically it will help prepare you hopefully for auditing cloud environments. And then for CSA itself, how to use the tools. You'll be able to use the tools that are available, and then build on this and execute an audit plan. So you want to make sure that you can do a proper audit. And then, okay, so this one we did already. Let's move to module 1, unit 1. Okay. Any questions so far? Yeah, okay, let's proceed. Again, reminder to turn your video on if possible. Yeah. I think for Seng Kwong, you can try to put some lighting in front of you if that's the case. Because otherwise you'll be behind the door all the time. Yeah. Yeah, correct. I'm just guessing that might be the problem. Okay, so for this module, module 1 has a couple of units, so 12 units. And as you can see, we need to finish this for the morning. So yeah, so there's a couple of things that we need to talk about. Hopefully you have some, these are familiar to you, most of them at least for most of these concepts. We're just gonna see how they basically apply to cloud in this sense, right? So now let's go to the cloud governance overview. Okay, so what do you think if when we talk about governance? Anyone here? So this is a definition, right? So it's a method by which an enterprise ensures that the stakeholder needs, conditions, and options are evaluated, the determined balance and agreed on enterprise objectives are achieved, right? But based on your experience, what have you experienced so far in terms of governance? Or what do you think governance is all about? Maybe we'll call on our wheel of names. I have this wheel of names here. Wait, somewhere. Just you guys. Hasley. Oh, this is the other class. Maybe let's call on Ghazali. What do you think of governance? Okay, so the title of this slide is corporate governance. So this is where it starts, right? So the company has its own governance requirements. Yeah. So Ghazali, what do you think about corporate governance? Are you there, Ghazali?
Yes,
sorry, it's a bit noisy where you are, Ghazali. Are you outside? I know you posted your photo there, but yeah. Hello, Ghazali. Okay, let's call on someone else who's more available. How about Alan? Based on your experience, what can you say about corporate governance or governance in general?
Governance, to make sure that everything is in compliance.
In compliance, yeah, okay. Actually, why do we need governance in the first place, right?
Accountability.
Accountability, okay, yes. Thank you. Anyone else? How about Michelle?
Oversight from the management on the controls, compliance, the risk management.
Okay. Thank you. Let's call on Chi Heng. What is governance to you?
Governance, policing.
Policing, okay. Yeah, why do you need the police people? Yeah, so I guess that's the real question. Yeah, Yasmin is laughing there, crying out loud, laughing out loud with the tears. Yeah, but it's right. I mean, yeah, technically it's policing, but why do you need the police people or police processes?
Protect the value of the company, the stakeholders. They spend a lot of money trying to build up the assets, so trying to make sure that you control all these things to protect the brand value, stakeholders, and everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to tell my wife is a compliance head. So actually, the next most important person in the organization, besides the CEO who drives all the sales, is actually the person who covers all the back. Don't lose any part of the sales lah. So you protect as much as you can. It's like a goalkeeper, right? You get all the people to attack, but then somebody had to guard the goal.
Yeah. That's right. So again, offense is not just a thing. Defense is also important, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for sharing about that analogy. Very nice analogy, right? Yeah. So again, you need to steer things and make sure that they're run as per what you say they are supposed to do, right? So again, the policing is important to make sure that everyone is in line with what the company wants to achieve, the goals, and all that. So governance is basically surrounded by the policies that are put in place to make sure that people adhere to them, the processes that are also put there to actually make sure that they run accordingly, and the internal controls according to make sure that no one makes any unintended mistakes, you avoid the risks. Yeah, so this is something that you need to put in place in terms of governance. So I can say this is your governance triad, right? So you have policies, process, and internal controls. Yeah, just like your CIA triad for security. Yeah. Okay, thank you for sharing, everyone. Let's move on now to this effective security posture. So how does it trickle down to information security? So normally, governance in general, you have your enterprise risk management that you look at. Again, on an enterprise level, this includes all different areas of the enterprise. So in your company, you have finance, you have purchasing, not just IT, right? So under this enterprise risk management, you have IT. This is the information risk management. And under the information risk management, then you have information security, which helps manage some of the information risk, right? So the other things, of course, there's privacy that you also have to look at. Other areas probably would be in terms of mergers. What are the other risks that are there? And in terms of complexities now, because once you move into the cloud, there are additional complexities, right? Last time, when there was no cloud, you only had to worry about what's in there in your environment, in your company, in your office, in your server room, in your data centers. So basically, you had some control over the physical assets. So your servers, your routers, your switches, all these are the things that you normally have. You have firewalls, other appliances that you have. And normally you have your racks all dedicated to you. So you basically put controls around them so that you can control them and monitor them, right? Now, in terms of cloud computing, what's the difference? So these are some of the complexities that are new when you have the cloud, when you start embarking on a cloud journey. So in this case, for example, when you deploy your different kinds of cloud environments, first of all, you have loss of direct control because someone else is doing it for you, right? Whether it's different kinds of services like SaaS, IaaS, or PaaS. Again, for those who are not familiar to the cloud, you have 3 types of services. Okay, so IaaS is the infrastructure as a service, PaaS is a platform as a service, and SaaS is solutions as a service, right? So these are some of the things that you have.
Software as a service, right?
Sorry, software as a service. Yes, that's right. The software as a service is basically those Salesforce.com, or Office 365. These are some of the things that you use very, quite commonly. But again, sometimes you're not aware of these things. So these are the different service types. For IaaS, it's normally replacing your hardware. It becomes all virtualized for you. So they take care of that. Actually, when you create a storage, it's no longer your own physical storage. You're riding on their own platforms. Yeah. So this is basically the 3 types of services. Plus, you can have multiple jurisdictions. You don't know exactly where your data might be residing. Yeah, because they have their own processes to keep backups, for example, to have redundancy, resilience. And then you have your data ownership, retain accountability. Okay, so these are some of the things you look at. And then you have lack of service offered, flexibility, because you don't dictate a lot of the things. They have to cater for several clients, so they have to make sure that no one is affected. Supply chains can also be a problem because you don't know who their suppliers are, their third parties. It can also be the shared responsibility that is sometimes tricky because who is responsible for what? So you have to make sure that that's defined properly. Then how do you do tests if you don't control certain environments, right? Plus the rapid changes. Sometimes you're forced to just upgrade. Yeah. So sometimes, of course, the cost will be the same for you, but there might be some impact. So when you're forced to upgrade, normally if you're on the cloud right now, they will send you some upgrade or update schedules. And basically, by hook or by crook, you should be ready for that update. Yeah. So basically, they will just give you a date, and then you have to just take it. Yeah, that you'll be upgraded after that time. So you have to be ready in terms of training. If there are any changes in the solutions. Okay. So these are some of the things you look at in terms of cloud governance complexities. And now in terms of the different service models, which we mentioned already. Okay. Now there's also the deployment model. So this is important. You should know the difference between these two. So don't get them mixed up. When you say deployment model, especially during the exam, right? They will say deployment model. You should know what are the deployment models. You should know what are the service models. Okay. So there's for deployment, there's public, which is basically you're sharing their space with other people. You can think of it like an HDB or condo unit. So you have many people inside the same space, sharing that common building, right? Then you have the private cloud. It's basically exclusive for you, similar to how a data center would probably work. Yeah, for your case, but it's still on the cloud. You're still on a metered service. It's a pay-per-use service, but again, of course it's more expensive because everything is exclusive for you. But of course you get what you pay for. Yeah, basically it's like the VIP kind of a suite for this private cloud. And then you have the hybrid cloud, which can be a mixture of this public and private, and also on-prem if ever. And then, of course, the challenges there would be the SLA, which one is which, because even though you have a private cloud, you also have a public cloud. So which ones will be affecting your SLA? Then you have the community cloud, which is basically normally it could be different kinds of services, and it's meant to be catering to a specific community. or a group of people or a group of companies, right? So this is what community cloud is. So let's say for a group of developers, you can have a community cloud. For a group of say financial institutions, you can have a community cloud as well. So again, it can be different things, the different communities. So you need to identify the relevant stakeholders on that community cloud, build a correct shared responsibility model for that as well. Okay, so any questions on these? Again, this is important. Try to memorize it if you can. Okay. So not just for this case, but for even for your exams or for other situations.
Hi, Paula.
Sorry.
Hi. I just want to check if the assessment will be the one that you say explained just now, right? On the service model specific complexity will be brought out in the assessment.
Sorry, who was that? Is that Lisa?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your question again?
Assessment? The one that you say on the service model specific complexity, where you say that you need to memorize, will be tested in the assessment.
Not necessarily the assessment, but more on the exam in general, because these are some of the basic things you need to know. Yeah, I'm just trying to prepare you for your exam. Yeah, but anyway, I can't talk about the assessment anyway, so I can't give you clues as to what will appear or which ones will not appear. Yeah, so it's open book. For the assessment for tomorrow is open book. So technically, anything is your book is fair game. Yeah.
How many questions is that in the assessment?
Assessments are basically it's 2 sets. So the first set has 4 questions, so the next one is also 4. So it's so it's basically distributed evenly. It should take very fast if you read through and you know where to look for it in your materials. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's open book, right? So you can do a search even if you have a soft copy.
Sorry, Paulo, Julie here. Maybe can you give me an example of a community cloud again?
Yeah, so for example, for developers, right, software developers, they can set up a community cloud, and then they can share resources there. So it's one of the examples of a community cloud. Of course, there can be other things, like some financial institutions, they decide to set up their own community cloud so they can share more finance-related information. That's also possible. Yeah. So so hosting basically it's still a cloud service. It's just that it's focused on a specific community. So that's what community cloud is. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Just like for example, GitHub. That's just for the mostly for developers. They park all their software there, the source codes and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So then you have the corporate governance and cloud governance. So COBIT. These are the COBIT principles. So COBIT is from ISACA. So they have also this control objectives for IT. So it's basically a whole list of control objectives. So the controls are there. Basically, these are the principles of COBIT. It's just trying to match it with the cloud governance from the CSA standpoint, right? So this is your identify stakeholders is there. Basically, it's also one of the COBIT principles. For cloud, it's scope should include cloud activities. Of course, this one is enterprise end-to-end, whereas this one is specific for cloud. And now for the cloud governance, there's also the mapping of the cloud governance standard, whereas this one is you apply a single integrated framework. And then for this side, for the cloud, you identify enablers for the cloud migration. Whereas this one for COBIT, of course, is a holistic approach. And finally, for governance, you have set objectives and metrics. You will also have your own governance and metrics from the management point of view for COBIT. Okay, so it's a good read. I mean, COBIT, if you don't have it yet, you can download it. Of course, you need to purchase it, I think, for COBIT. And then a lot of things are also available for free in terms of reference materials, articles. So you have to just find out which ones you can get. Of course, most of the time, you'll get it for free if you're an ISACA member. Okay. So if you're not a member yet, try to get membership. Yeah. Of course, the membership is a paid membership, so you have to pay for these memberships. So are you familiar with this? Anyone has seen this before? Especially our project managers here. Who was a project manager just now? I think it was it Yao Heng or Yasmin? Yasmin, was that you? You did PM before, right?
I did the course, but I didn't attempt the exam, so I went the Scrum Master way instead.
Okay, but you're familiar with this? What is this? What do you
Yes,
call
I
this?
am. I've seen this. Yes, the RACI chart. RACI
Okay.
matrix.
Yeah, RACI charts. So RACI, right? Everyone? So you call this a RACI chart. What does it stand for? Basically, responsible. R is responsible. A is accountable. C is consulted, and I will be informed. So it's basically just trying to match the different activities, okay, with those who are responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. So for example, setting the provider requirements, and then you have these different departments or teams, right? So normally I would put more specific people here instead of just teams, because once you have a team, you don't know who exactly inside the team might be responsible or what. So the idea is tracing or mapping out these RACIs into each and every department. So everyone is clear that they have their own roles to play. So whether it's an R, A, C, or I, you map it out upfront so that no one will say that they didn't know, or okay, so they're not responsible. So this is something that you put in normally at the beginning. When you have a project charter, for example, they can map it out, and everyone has to agree. At least the key stakeholders have to agree on this. Yeah. Okay, and then this one is a cloud octagon model. Again, it's just mentioning some of the items that you need to consider when you talk about cloud governance. So you can see countries, the procurement, data classification, IT governance, architecture, development and engineering, and some sub-service providers, because even your cloud providers may have subcontractors, right? Or sub-CSPs. Then you have the risk processes that are there too. So this is called the octagon model. So the key thing about this is cost, right? So I think a lot of times there's a reason for us to go to the cloud is mainly because it's convenient and, of course, cost-effective for most cases. But if you're not careful, you can have cost overruns. How is that? Why do you think you can have cost overruns for the cloud? Because it's too easy. If you let your guard down and you let your users have a lot of control, a lot of self-service kind of options, they might sign up for each and everything that they might not need, or maybe they need, but they maybe they abuse. Okay, so you have to be careful in guarding your cloud assets, because it adds up, right? So it's a subscription model. So for example, some is pay per use. So meaning for storage, if you have storage space, so they can pay by a few gigs or tera. So as and when the size increases, that will have another impact on your cost. So you have to be careful. Anyone here has signed up for cloud before, even on a personal level, just to try it out? For AWS, Azure, or GCP? So you know that they ask you for your credit card, right? So what do? Anyone here who has signed up and forgotten about it? So don't forget about it. So you don't know that you might rack up a bill you've been paying somehow. If you don't monitor your credit card fees, that's quite dangerous. Okay, excuse me for a while. So again, you have to make sure that you manage your costs properly, okay? And don't get caught. I can rack up a few thousands actually if you're not careful. Yeah. So if you've taken those online courses before, or even those from the CSPs themselves, they will guide you. I mean, they have good materials. I suggest you also try it out. But again, be careful, because again, there's cost tied to it. They will give you free credits. So basically, you can try out certain aspects or free features, but if you're not careful, then the charges will come in, okay, which can be quite sizable if you're not careful. Okay. Next will be governance stakeholders and third-party players, right? So as with any kind of situation, you have internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. So these are the different stakeholders that you can look at when you talk about cloud. For example, internal will be practically everyone, especially if you're deciding to put everyone on the cloud, especially Office 365, for example. That affects the whole company, right? Everyone will be using all the features of cloud, of Office 365, the different SharePoint, Office, Word, Excel. These will be all on the cloud. You have Teams as well, and plus the other apps that are add-ons that can be quite useful, like a Planner. There's also the standard Microsoft features that are there too. So these are some of the things that come together with that subscription. Now, for external ones, you have the cloud providers, the CSPs, those who integrate things on the cloud, implementers, brokers, software development contractors, because not everyone has the skill sets, right? So you need people who can help you, program on the cloud, especially for those SaaS products, software as a service products. Then you have these CRM solutions, SAP solutions, ERP solutions that are out there. You need these specialized or skilled consultants to help you develop things for you on the cloud. Of course, there are auditors. Of course, there are also your customers. So let's do this exercise. Here, I need you to use your annotate function on Zoom. Okay. So based on what you've seen earlier, I'd like you now to map out your own internal and external stakeholders using the annotate function. So do that now. Okay. So click on annotate. There. Okay, someone just wrote. You can use a text instead of the scribble function. So by using text, you can type here nicely. So I'd like you to list your internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. Maybe what we can do is if we don't have enough on the external stakeholders, I'll name some of you to help chip in for the external stakeholders. So basically, you just need to just pull out the annotate function and then write on this. Okay, someone put in management. Okay, these are the internal stakeholders. That's right. And for external, you can put as well. And try not to overwrite your friend's writing already. Okay, audit is there. What is this basically internal audit? I would assume internal audit can be there for internal stakeholders. The board, okay. Investors for external. Excuse me. Community that's being served, okay. External might be okay. The whole community, okay. Then it could be applicable for external stakeholders. Supply chain department. Okay, so you get the idea, right? Government, yeah, okay. So in what sense is government related as an external stakeholder? Is it because of compliance requirements? The bank, okay. A very big bank there. Okay, so for those who shared on the external stakeholders, maybe you can elaborate why you put these as external stakeholders as well. For example, the bank. So assuming you're not the bank, because internal will be your company, right? So external being the bank, what will the bank as an external stakeholder be like? Yeah. Who wrote the bank? Someone put school as well, okay. I guess school will be from Rajesh. No, not you. Okay. Okay, again, a lot of overlaps here, but yeah. Maybe let's who wrote bank or government? I can understand because you need to comply with some of the regulations. Okay, but for the bank, anyone who wrote the bank? Maybe you can help elaborate on that.
I wrote the bank. Because the company will need to borrow money. Yeah,
Okay.
then bank lends money. Yeah.
I see. And if the cloud, will they be like a stakeholder for cloud in this case?
Yeah. It will be an external stakeholder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it assuming that the bank offers such online services or something like that? You want to integrate with the bank?
Yeah, so as in have to maintain a good relationship with them, so to manage the company's financial health.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Again, we're talking about cloud here, right? So I'm just looking at it from the point of cloud. Okay, thanks a lot, Victor. Anyone else? How about those who wrote school? Who's the one who wrote
school?
You also wrote school. Okay, that's why
Yeah.
the same font. Yeah, for school, then what? What about the school?
The school will provide education and training, which is relevant to the industry. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, correct. Especially for cloud. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, but normally you want to look at in terms of a cloud program, right? When you're setting up a cloud program, it's normally those that are directly affected by your cloud program. Yeah. So unless you want to do some cloud collaboration with your school or the bank, then yeah, no need to put them as external stakeholders for this. At least they won't be affected regardless of whether or not you go on the cloud, right? But for bank, it's possible because you can actually have some of these online payments. Yeah, so these can be some possible integration, for example, with some of your cloud solutions as well. Okay, thank you for that. How about let's call on the internal stakeholder side of things. The board of directors, who put that? Yeah, in what way can you, be, I would say, in what way will the board of directors be influenced by the cloud? Who wrote the board of directors?
Yeah, me.
Okay, Sec, right? Yeah. Maybe you can just elaborate so that for the benefit of everyone.
Here was the question again.
No, so why do you put board of directors as an internal stakeholder for cloud programs?
Depends on what kind of directors they are for. If there's technical directors, and that's for the sales side. So
yeah, actually, for the board of directors, you're right. A lot of these major decisions has to go through the board, especially if you have to pay for it. Yeah. So there's depending on your own policy in terms of procurement, especially, it can be that these major decisions might go all the way to the board, right? But again, sometimes if just a simple project that you're working on, a small change, and normally it doesn't have to go all the way to the board, but maybe you can keep them informed. But to a certain extent, whether or not they have to make any major decisions, whether they want to go into cloud, that again depends on the size of your cloud implementation. Okay, thanks a lot, everyone. It's good to probably take some souvenir of this. Okay, good. Let me just move on then, and remove first your annotation. Clear all drawings. Thanks for participating, everyone. Oops, wait, I haven't moved my annotation yet. Okay, so that's the end of our Unit 2. I think it's just about time for a break. So let's take a 15-minute break. And then if you have any questions, let me know. I can answer it during the break. But let's come back at around 10:50. Is that okay? Yeah. So let's come back at 10:50 and then start over again to the next unit. Okay, thanks everyone. Okay. Time to get back, everyone. Well, again. Time to go back. Hope you had a good break as well. So again, reminder to be visible on your videos. Like Ghazali, Lisa, Kiyu, Alan. So we can take our group photo. Then you have Victor, Seng Kwong. Victor, you there? Seng Kwong, Lisa. Come on, so that we can finish this quickly. Okay, let's wait for them for a while. So I wrote something in the chat. So that's a link where you can download from CSA, the Cloud Security Alliance. You can download the CCM, the Cloud Controls Matrix version 4. You can see there are several tabs here because they combined already a lot of the things inside CCM. It also includes a CAIQ, which is this Consensus Assessment Initiative Questionnaire. Okay, so take a look. I need you to be familiar with this document and how you can use it for your own companies. Okay, these are the tools that we have. As you can see, once you download it, you basically can see all the sets of controls that are available. And then, of course, it has references to which ones are there for IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, plus the physical network, which ones it's applicable for. Okay. And there's so much information. Yeah. So you just have to take a look. You don't have to memorize it, of course. You just have to be familiar with how it's structured so you can navigate it easily. So normally each control will have an ID. So this is how they use the control ID. For audit and assurance, they use A&A now with a -01 for the first control. Second control will have -02, and so on and so forth. So other control categories, control domains will have, for example, A and IS. So AIS is for the application and interface security. This is one of the controls. So for example, here is establish, document, approve, communicate, apply, etc. Support the organization's application security capabilities, right? So this is basically one of the controls. Other controls are there too, and so on. So just scroll through and be familiar with all the different domains and different controls. And then these are the implementation guidelines for each of the controls. So for example, for A&A-01, how do you implement the controls for this? Yeah, so these are the steps. So they give it to you already as basically it's a template, what you need to do so that you can implement such controls in your organization. Of course, it's generic. You have to tailor it more specifically to your own organization. Yeah. And if you want to audit, there's an auditing guidelines tab. So this is where you can find how you can audit each and every control. So as you can see, there are a couple of steps you need to follow for each and every control. So if your company decides to implement all these controls, you can see how long it can take for you to audit. Yeah. So this is a very long list of controls, right? So many rows. Okay. But it's good to know so that you have this available reference for you. Of course, you don't have to take on all the controls if they're not applicable. It's just that the tool is there. You just have to go through the list. Even the exercise itself will take a while, but it's a very useful tool because they thought about all these things already for you, right? So you don't have to think for yourself. Imagine thinking all of this from scratch. Right? So it's very hard to think about all these controls, right? So at least they outlined it for you already. Then just pick and choose what you need for your company, for your systems, and then this is how you audit, this is how you implement controls. Okay, so this is why you need this. There's also the CAIQ, which is important for you to map your controls, right? And then what is the consensus assessment question? This is normally for those who want to take the certifications, they want to check. So our audit and assurance policies, procedures, and standards established, documented, approved, etc. So it's a questionnaire, basically. Yeah. So you just have to answer accordingly for each question. Okay, so is everyone back? Seng Kwong, Yasmin, I need you on camera. Let's try to...
Sorry, Paulo, can I ask? So the
Yes.
CAIQ, all these guidelines seems like a checklist to guide us how to conduct an audit. So
It's a
typically,
template. Yeah, it's a template. Yes.
yeah, it's a checklist template to guide us to do an audit. But
Yes.
typically, like in exam, what will be the question like, for example?
They will probably
assessment,
ask you. I mean,
exam.
this is a tool. So for the assessment, at least I can share. I'm not sure in the exam itself how it will come out, but in the exam, of course, it will cover a lot of things, right? But the assessment-wise, you need to know how to navigate this. Basically, that's what I can say.
Okay, okay.
So you can search through, when I ask specific questions about this. Yeah.
Okay.
So your main guide, your main key here would be the control IDs. So you need to know which domain, the control domains and the control IDs that will lead you to specific details about it, right? So that's how you navigate this. So the commonality about all these is your control ID actually. Right? So once you know the control ID, then you'll be able to search for the right one and give the right answers that are corresponding to that control ID.
Sorry?
Sorry?
Will you be sharing this with us?
No, I sent the link. So the link is
the
there.
link, so I will need to
Download it. Yes.
Oh, downloaded it. Okay.
It's good also because then you can explore the rest of the CSA website. Then you can find out more what are they offering there for cloud. Yeah. Okay. So let me know if you have problems downloading the link. So you get the version 4, which has all these tabs. Yeah. So all these tabs below should be there. If not, you downloaded a different version. Yeah. So this one is version 4.07. So we're calling Yasmin and Seng Kwong. I just need you to show yourselves for a while. Okay, not here yet. So anyway, that's it for this. Let's proceed with the lesson proper while waiting for them. So now we have the cloud governance overview. Or maybe let's take a photo first. So we don't know if they're coming back or not. Smile and say NTUC. Okay. Oh, someone is fixing their hair. It's okay. Let me just save that first. So we have a copy at least. Can't do much if you don't appear on video. Okay, let's proceed then. Now, so this topic is on assessing cloud services. So basically, this one is just comparing what are the things that are important to note of when you're assessing cloud services. First of all, you have to look at the contracts in terms of use. Right? What are the things you look out for? Anyone who has dealt with contracts before? Yeah. When you sign up online, you actually read the terms and conditions. Yeah, it's a long list, right? Even I gave up after a while. Yeah, so I mean, I try to at least save it so that I have a reference point in case something happens. But yeah, reading through it is really a pain. So they try to really make it burdensome for people so that people will just not read it at all. But I think for your companies, you need to read any contract with other third parties, right? So you have to make sure at least you do that part for your companies. On a personal level, yeah, you can decide what you want to do. Just trust the provider or not. So again, yeah, contracts are important because again they specify what you agreed on in case something happens, right? So these are the SLAs, the data breaches. If things go wrong, yeah, then what happens next? So who's liable for it? Then you have the first-party risk assessment. What are the things you need to look at? Are you allowed to also perform first-party risk assessment? This is when you actually want to assess your cloud service provider, for example, for internal audit purposes. And then you have the provider reputation. You want to make sure that they're reputable. They don't have any bad track records, or they weren't in the news for data breaches, or even downtime. So even if it's not an actual threat or attack, it might have been system downtime. Maybe their performance is not up to par. Then you have provider self-assessment. Of course, they probably declare certain things that they're doing all these things to secure your data. And of course, you want to look at external attestation, those coming from their auditors, for example, or other parties that will certify them, like ISO. Then you have provider financial stability. Why? Because you don't want to have your provider just shut down and become bankrupt one fine day, right? You want to, because otherwise your data goes along with them. Yeah, or at least your processes will be disrupted at the least. And then you have the provider attributes. What are the things you look out for? You want to know the maturity level, ability to execute, and then deliver on the SLAs they promised, security posture, compliance posture, all these things, right? So monitoring as well. How can you monitor as a customer? How can you monitor them? Are they also doing their job to monitor for your side? Yeah. Privacy as well. So privacy is linked to security, but not exactly the same. So yeah, it's a different area or field altogether. But of course, in order to have privacy, most likely you need security, right? So you need to keep things confidential. You need to have the proper controls around it as well. Okay. Any questions so far around the assessment? Yeah. So this is basically when you want to assess your cloud services. For cloud assurance programs, these are the phases that you go through. You have to design for your own program. You have to develop it afterwards, after the design. Then you implement it. Excuse me. So first of all, when you design, you have to check what are the roles and responsibilities you want to cover, the program authorization process, right? And how do you put in the feedback loop? Again, this is important because you need a way to improve, right? So I think with any best practice, you need that feedback loop. And of course, what are the goals you want to set for your cloud program? Yeah. In terms of development, what are the things that you require from the CSP? You want to identify what are the laws around it. In Singapore, there's no cloud-specific rule yet, but I think in terms of government, there is. But we rely on other things like, you have the Cloud Security Act. So I know not Cloud Security, but the Cybersecurity Act. But so that's related to whatever technology you use anyway. So whether it be cloud or your on-prem solutions. Then also you have the PDPA in general, which is basically trying to protect data. Okay, personal data protection. And then you have the implementation portion here now that is also talking about how you want to map and classify your data. How do you rate sensitivity and establish processes and functions? And then what are the security requirements around it, right? And of course, there are service levels and deployment models, which we touched on earlier. And talking about the tools, how do you make life easier for you, right? So you rely on tools normally to make life easier. Once you have a governance program, you want to automate a lot of these things. For example, even for contract requirements, how do you keep track of which contracts have been reviewed? Are there any issues? There's a lot of back and forth that will happen, right? Especially if you're negotiating. But for the bigger players, like for the bigger CSPs, normally it's a one-way street. You can't negotiate for a lot of these things. Then you have the audit activities that can happen. Up to what extent can you audit your service providers? And there's also the security assessment, which I think you can find out first based on their sites. You can request for a site visit if you want. If you're a big enough company, they might entertain you. Okay, so these are some of the things that you need to consider when you talk about these cloud governance tools. How do you make sure that you're equipped and you have the automation inside? So again, tools can be the technology side of things. It can also be some of the administrative kind of tools. So these are the relevant variables. You look at the service model, the service types, and the risk profile. So again, these are the things you need to look at. Okay, so here when it mentions about service model for SaaS, what's the implication for the tools? Of course, the contract will help because there's a lot of things that you cannot do already when you talk about the tools, right? So one of the things that that the provider will allow you to do for IaaS and PaaS, you can do an audit of these customer managed controls, so you can basically check the controls on your end because you're the one setting it up, right? So they give you that leeway, actually the control over setting up your own controls. And then for the service types, you're basing it on your audit intensity, on the level of the provider security maturity. For risk profile is normally if it's a higher risk, you need to do more. You need to do more effort, right? So, which is the case because you want to focus your efforts on those with higher risk. Okay, so that's quite obvious. So those with lower risk, you still have to attend to them, but not as much as the higher risk. Okay, and of course it depends on your risk appetite. So again, a lot of things also fall on your risk appetite.
Paulo, I had a question here. If you can go back to the previous slide, yeah.
Okay.
So you're saying for PaaS or us, do an audit of customer management, organization managed controls, right? So we have to document this and make sure it's in place.
Yes, of course.
Okay, because it's
so basically there are settings for PaaS and IaaS that allow you to manage the security, for example, the settings. So once you have that in place,
this must be defined legally, right?
Legally? No,
I mean,
it's not
when
legally.
you're doing the contracts as well. So I mean, when you want to.
No. These are under your control. Yeah.
Yeah, but when it comes to going for PaaS or IaaS, so this has to be documented as well. The controls. Do I have to document it with the platform service provider?
No, these are customer managed controls. That means it's yours. So these are the ones that you manage. You have to actually audit these every now and then to make sure that they're safe and secure, right? They're configured correctly.
Okay, so that. Okay, let me understand. Let me read up about this.
Basically, auditing them makes sure that no one misconfigured them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what you're trying to do. Yeah.
Thank you.
So the thing with SaaS. Okay, software as a service is already pre-built for you, right? So there's a lot of things you can't change.
And they all have to be defined, correct? For the SaaS.
It's predefined already, mostly for you. Yeah. I mean, in terms of the hardware side, I mean the physical side of things. But of course, the software side, you can still make your own configurations as well on the software level, but not anymore on the hardware level. Yeah. Like storage space requirements, security requirements inside. If ever there's the access requirements for your own users using the SaaS, but that's a different layer. Yeah. So normally for IaaS and PaaS, you will have admins as well. So these will require special treatment. Okay. So this is why the level of security will be a bit and the level of control will be a bit different. Yeah. Remember that shared responsibility model.
Yeah.
So that one will show you which ones you have control over, and which ones the provider has control over. Yeah.
Okay, so organization managed controls is whatever I have within my controls. I have to manage that, nah?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Thank you.
By the way, since you're there, can you show your video now so that we can take a photo with you or video
okay.
with you?
All right, let's do that. I think I missed it just now.
Yeah, and Lisa, if you're there too, and Seng Kwong. There you are, Seng Kwong. Let's do this quickly. Yeah. Yasmin, you ready?
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to switch this on. Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Ghazali, I need your face. Okay, 1, 2, 3. NTUC.
Wait, Victor, you're missing. Wait.
Is Victor missing?
Victor is missing now.
Oh yeah, Victor left. Okay, yeah.
Weiqi.
It's okay. I can't get everyone on, so probably I'll just send them 2 photos. Yeah, that's the difficulty here. Try to be on video, guys. It makes life tough for me. Anyway, let's proceed. I'll just show them 2 photos. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, Paula.
Yes.
For this, right, is it you need to actually firstly you need to actually identify what is the service model?
Yes, of course, yes.
Yeah, whether it is ISAS, PAS, or SaaS.
Yeah, so that one is more straightforward on what you need. You want to
Mhm.
get an IAS.
But how do you actually identify these 3 categories?
Okay, so these are the different services that you need. If you want something that's ready built, this you can probably take on software as a service. Yeah. So this your Salesforce.com. Yeah. If you're one that you want to develop things on your own, you want to build things on your own, you can go for the IaaS because that allows you to define your storage space, define your different requirements for computing power and all that. So it's like setting up your own data center, but someone else is doing it for you.
Okay. So
But
which
so
means that you need
the
to
service models themselves will be different in what they offer. So IaaS normally is infrastructure. So that's just basically the core message there. Okay, so it allows you to set up your own infrastructure and then build things on top of it, like a normal server, a normal server, different appliances there. You can set up a firewall. These are the things that are available for infrastructure as a service. For a platform as a service, it's somewhere in between software as a service and infrastructure as a service. So it allows you to, it gives you the platform ready-made, it gives you the infrastructure ready-made, pre-built, and then you can actually develop things on top of it, like create your own programs. So you still have to do your own coding if ever, or something like that. It can be as easy as a drag and drop kind of thing, but it still is a platform for you to build on. One example would be, for example, those that you set up for UiPath. That could be one of the examples there. It allows you to build some automation around it, but you didn't build a UiPath platform. You can use it to automate certain things around your organization, right? So this is the RPA kind of model.
For example, those I think previously you actually mentioned on the deployment model specific complexity, right? Like public cloud. All those,
So
right?
don't mix up the two. Deployment model is different from service model. So service model are these 3, or it can actually be a bit more. It's a service basically. They're providing you a service. What kind of service do you need? It's like a menu. So do you need a la carte? You want to get a la carte? You want to get like a set? So I would say the software as a service. They give you the full software. You don't have to worry about the hardware side of things. You don't have to worry about setting up all the security around it. They already give you the software only. So one good example is Salesforce.com. If you have used it before, you just log in, use it. Another example would be like your Gmail. Yeah, so it's a service that allows you to use emails. So you don't need to worry about the hardware. You don't have to set up your own servers. So that's software as a service. Okay, so that's why it's different from these 3 are the different services at different levels. So one is the bare minimum, which is the infrastructure as a service. They allow you to specify storage. They allow you to specify the computing power that you need for you to develop and run programs on top of it, like Windows, and then you can set up your own programming languages on top of it. Your own systems like SAP can run on top of it, much like a normal server would. Yeah, but it's just that you don't own the servers. You don't have control of where it will sit. Yeah, so that's the main difference. It's still offered as a service, but it's the closest similar thing to how you would operate your own data center. Okay, but for platform as a service, it's one layer up. There's a virtualized layer on top of it that allows you to develop things, but so you don't own that platform, but it allows you to develop things on top of that platform. So you can have small apps running on top of that platform as a service. Okay, the other one is, again, the software as a service already, which you mentioned. The full-fledged software. You can create vendors inside. You can create POs. You can create a lot of transactions on top of it. So you just have to use the software that's ready-made for you. Okay. So you have to know the differences between these two. There are nuances to these service models. Okay. Is that clear, Lisa? Because these are the basic things that you need to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, I'm still trying to understand the different type of service model.
Yeah. So, you're familiar with IT in general?
Not so.
Okay.
Because previously I actually did some IT audits, but then not into the IT background.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I'm amazed you managed to do an IT audit without IT background. But anyway, so the thing is, okay, one thing, take your laptop, for example, right? You have your laptop there in front of you.
Yeah.
Right? So your laptop is like infrastructure. It's a device that
Okay.
you run programs
It's the
on.
hardware. It's all
It's the
those
hardware,
hardwares.
right?
Yeah.
So what you're doing is, if there's infrastructure as a service, you actually give this laptop, you don't need a laptop anymore. You give it to someone else to handle. And then what happens is from your browser, you can say, how many laptops do I need? Okay, what size of laptop do I need? And I run everything from a browser so that I can configure things on that IaaS laptop. I can specify the storage space I need, the memory I need, the processor I need, how fast. Okay. And that is how I set your IaaS.
So it's like a centralization.
Yeah, so that's what cloud is all about, right? You don't need you only need the browser to specify all these things. Yeah.
So you actually configure only one that can control to many other hardwares.
Yes, so to speak, you don't own the hardware. The provider owns the hardware. You don't care where they put your storage. You don't. I mean, you have to care actually, but I'm saying you don't have control whether they put it somewhere or what. Yeah, you can specify it based on your settings. Yeah, so that's why you have to know which options did the provider give you. Okay. Sometimes location is important, right? So you can actually choose not to put it in a location that you're not supposed to put. Yeah. So the platform as a service is a separate thing. So instead of your hardware, you already have something pre-built. Yeah. So you don't need even to set up your hardware. You can immediately use something and develop programs.
DevOps,
Yeah. Sorry.
DevOps.
DevOps, yes. DevOps is software development. So
software development,
they developed they combined two groups of people. Last time you have the dev side, the developers, and you have the operations team, which are running the day-to-day kind of operations, right? But last time the problem is developers keep on developing programs that are low quality, and then the operations team is the one handling all the issues after that. So what they decided to put the dev and the ops together as a team together so that they will be able to catch all these issues beforehand and try to minimize operations issues. And then they have this other concept of DevSecOps, because last time once they have the dev and ops together, sometimes they miss out security requirements. So now they have the DevSecOps team to make sure that security is also catered for once they develop programs. So basically security by design, right? Okay. Is that clear? Hopefully I enlightened you there, Lisa.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
otherwise you probably have
to
read up a bit and watch more YouTube tutorials probably.
All right, can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Again, I think a lot of these other side questions, let's leave it during the breaks so that we don't disrupt the rest of the class. Because again, there's a lot of slides to cover, and yeah, just want to make sure that we cover all the materials before our assessment tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, if you can park it for a while during the breaks, that'll be great. And then let's do this exercise now. Okay, so these are the things that you talked about in terms of the governance tool. Now here, in terms of your own environment, right? I'd like you to list. Of course, if you're not familiar, you can just probably think of what you might need. So in terms of control frameworks, what are the things that are currently in your own environment? Plus, what are the things in terms of your processes that might be applicable for the cloud? Okay. So again, use your annotate tool to do this. Yeah. So go ahead and start annotating. So what are the control frameworks that you learn about that you think will be applicable for your own companies or you're currently using? So we mentioned one basic thing for cloud, and there are others, of course. So just to see which ones you're using right now in your own companies. Anyone? Don't be shy. Okay, give you one clue. Control framework will be CCM. That's one. Okay. Okay, someone was typing this now. How about the rest?
No, we can't think of what to share. Why don't you continue, Polo?
For your processes, have you put anything on the cloud? I think email will be one. Yeah, that's one example. You can put emails as one of your, well, it's not really a process, but it's one of your office tools, right?
We wouldn't have thought of email as a process.
It's more of a tool, but yeah, it's something that you may have used already. If it's on the cloud, but the process standpoint, maybe your finance has something that's on the cloud already, or maybe your HR if you're using some of those cloud services for HR. Anyone here on Workday, for example? So see, these are some of the things that are on the cloud actually, but maybe you're not familiar or you didn't realize it's on the cloud. Yeah, ISO 27001. Okay, these are mostly for the security. Okay, anything else? So normally, if you have the security portion, what is the process that you apply this control on? Everything. Yeah. How about warehouse management, inventory management, sales? How do you manage your sales right now? You have a CRM solution? Yeah, so is this a good chance for you to actually just think for a while of the things you're using? Are they really on premise or you're actually using the cloud solutions? Yeah, go ahead. I'll give you a few more minutes. Yeah. Oh, I see some interesting ones now. Good. Well, GDPR, okay. This is not really a control framework, but that's more of a regulation, right? Yeah. But I mean, it's something we try to comply with. Yes. And SFDC, Salesforce.com. Yeah. I haven't heard of Monday.com. What is it all about? The one who wrote it. Maybe you can share more about Monday.com. Is it an HR tool?
It's a project task tracking tools.
Oh, task tracking tools. Okay. Of course, there's ServiceNow. Again, more from the ITSM standpoint. Although ServiceNow is more than just an ITSM tool. Actually, they have GRC inside and a lot of other things that can. Basically, it's a workflow tool, right? So they're leveraging on workflow. It started off as an IT tool, but actually now you can do a lot of things on ServiceNow. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if everyone is actually trying to has a workflow that they want to follow. ServiceNow is one of the tools you can use to configure that, and automate it to a certain extent. Okay, there's some tools as well, but I see some may not be exactly cloud tools. Okay, but yeah, it's still valid to look at them. Okay, good. Thanks for sharing, everyone. Just to note, maybe those who mentioned about RPA tools, right? Maybe you can share what your experience has been with RPA, UiPath, for example. So this is an example of what kind of service type is this?
I wrote RPA tools, but it's not implemented by my department, but I understand it's on cloud service.
Okay.
So we use this, it's more on R&D, to automate those manual process.
Right. Especially those on the cloud, right? Okay. Good.
Yeah.
So this one is like I would say platform as a service, because they actually have the workflow built, but you can still build your own RPA on top of it, right? So yeah, so they basically they set up the platform for you to use, then you can build things on top of it. Okay. There's an e-leave system as well, corporate website. Okay, so these are some of the things that you can have in terms of the processes. Control frameworks will be mainly the ISO one. Of course, CMM is another one, which I am surprised no one put in. we already discussed it a while back. Yeah. By the way, I put in the chat for those who just came in. I put in the chat the link, okay, to download the CCM and the CAIQ version 4. So they combined it now. It's all in one file, and then try to familiarize yourself and on how to navigate it and such. Okay. Okay, good. Let me take a photo of this for our safekeeping. It's good sharing. Okay. Where's that now? Just a moment. Okay. Didn't capture properly. Just one more time. Let me check. Okay, got it. Okay, let's proceed then. Let me just remove your annotations. Okay, so that is the end of Unit 3. Now we can proceed with Unit 4 on cloud trust, transparency, and assurance. Okay, very important things to take note of when you're choosing your cloud provider. So what do you think you need when you want to trust your cloud provider, right? So these are some of the things you look at. Reputation-based trust. Can anyone explain to me what reputation-based trust is all about? Whose reputation? Anyone?
Cloud provider.
The provider.
Cloud provider's reputation, right? You have to make sure that they have the good track record, didn't have much downtime or data breaches. Yeah. And then SLA verification-based trust is also there. They basically meet their SLA requirements. Policy-based trust, and the societal trust. Again, those in terms of the news, are they doing ethical things? They're not doing forced labor or child labor or whatever is not ethical. And then evidence-based trust also, based on what you can see, based on what they actually do. There's some of the things that we look at. So that's also somehow in line with transparency, right? So we don't see anything. It's very difficult to trust. Okay, so these are the levels, different kinds of trust. Now we talk about in the cloud itself. So you look at these three things in terms of your cloud customer, the cloud service, and the third party. Then you look at how you can actually include this as part of your security posture, right? From the third party level, because there's a cloud service provider, but they also have third parties. On your side, you're the cloud customer. How do you make sure that you can also include your own security? How do you improve your own security policies? And then ways to measure it will be a couple of things. You can do a desktop review, or sometimes we call it a tabletop review. And then basically just try to match it based on the CSP documentation. So like a checklist, basically, right? And then you have experimental measurements using sandboxes. So you do a sandboxing of this. Basically, it's a playground when you say sandboxing, right? So there's a sandbox. You play around with it. Try to also see based on your own assessment. And you can also do the take it from secondary sources. So you want to get all the reviews from external parties. So normally that's how we do our homework, right? Hopefully you do this before you take on any vendor at all, not just cloud providers. Yeah, so you also have these reported incidents. Are they in the news? Have they had any breaches as well? And then you have the supply chain intelligence providers. So there's such services out there normally to do background checks and all that, right? So you also check the risk rates of these supply chain vendors. And then also the CSA Star, which is they have this rating for cloud providers. So those who embarked on this program will have these star certificates. Okay. Okay. So this basically some of the ways you can measure cloud trust. Now there's this shared responsibility model. Have you seen this before? So based on the risks, normally the idea here is that the cloud provider responsibility goes up as and when more services are taken on. So I think Lisa, you were asking earlier what's the difference, right? So this will give you an idea of the responsibilities for each service model. So on-prem, of course, yours is the full responsibility for all these risks.
Yeah.
Right?
So IaaS is actually infrastructure, then platform and the software.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's
Yeah.
it's basically what it means, right? So IaaS is
Yeah.
infrastructure as a service. For platform as a service, normally they give you other things like part of the identity and access. There's a certain application that they run so that you can build on top of it. And SaaS, they provide you the solution at this point. Some of them are shared, that's why half-half. But again, it depends on the area and what exactly is covered. So again, because sometimes they give you control over the hosting configuration, right? So if you never configured properly, therefore, you also share part of that risk. Yeah. Okay. Clear so far, everyone? Okay, now there's another thing about trust is that it's like an overlap of assurance, accountability, and transparency. Once you have all this, that overlap is basically your trust trust area, right? So you need both. You need all of these three to have your provider give you some level of transparency, have that level of accountability and assurance. So by assurance, normally you have these certifications, attestations that you look for. Like, are they ISO 27001 certified? Are they, using some of the CSA star certifications? Excuse me. Yeah. And then in terms of transparency, you can have these different categories. You can look at the fiscal, economic. They opening up their books to you. Of course, normally if they're listed companies, they have to do that, right? So at least you need to see how their financial stability is like. So they won't close shop one fine day or anytime soon. Of course, the market will always change, right? So if you hear some news that they will close shop soon, I better think of migrating already to a new provider. Yeah, there's one that actually has closed shop similar to this. I just forgot what exactly is that service last time, which is also quite surprising actually because it was a kind of up and coming cloud provider. Anyway, I'll probably try to think about it and share with you later on. Then you have the social sciences. So there's another thing here about social sciences is and in terms of information technology, one of the things you also need to look at in terms of their technology that they use behind it, right? Yeah. So some of the tools you can use, of course, you can look at their security policies if they divulge it, they're willing to share it with you. Of course, service level agreement is a must. You have to know your service level agreements. What are you there to sign up for? And then assessments and certifications that they have. Normally, they will brag about these because they want to sell more services, right? Then the right to audit. Okay, this is important, mainly if they actually can provide you the right to audit. For the bigger players, normally they don't, because otherwise they will have to entertain the whole world. So imagine if you're the CSP and each and every client will be given the right to audit, and everyone has a different audit timings. So you get the idea of that right to audit problem when it comes to the CSP. Yeah. Okay. So, but in any case, that's why they also provide their own reporting, like at least a SOC 2 Type 2 reporting will be there, so that they will show these to whoever is their customer. Hopefully that's good enough, and will provide that level of transparency as well coming from a third party. Yeah. Okay. Any questions so far? Yeah. Let's move on. Okay, so accountability. Basically, this slide is saying that you cannot outsource accountability, right? So even though, let's say, your provider breaks down or downtime or gets breached, at the end of the day, your own customers will still chase you, right? They don't have a contract with your cloud providers, but they have a contract with you somehow, right? They're your own customers, so they will chase you. But you yourselves can protect yourselves to a certain extent by having some back-to-back agreements with your cloud providers. What happens in cases of breach? In case of security issues and all that, or downtimes even, because for example, the banks, right? Sometimes they have downtimes. Again, what's the reason, cost behind it? Maybe mainly probably due to some of their providers. Could also be due to some of their internal staff making mistakes and all that. So, but if it's with some of the vendors, even though they blame their vendors, the customers will still blame them, right? So this is the thing. But it's funny when I see it in the news that they also highlight and get the vendor to explain on their behalf. I'm not sure if you've ever seen that before, but yeah, this is sometimes the case. Even for utility companies, right? So similar thing, they get downtimes, they blame their vendor for these things, which may be the reason, but again, who's accountable is still them, right? Because they owe it to their customers to actually have that resilience and the proper reporting. So again, when you talk about this, you look at transparency, responsibility, responsiveness, and remediability. Okay. So let's do a knowledge check. Again, just to wake up your brain cells. So this is to exercise your brains, right? We do a lot of workout in the gym. This is to also work out our brains. So let's call on, where is my wheel of names right now? Hey, how come it doesn't appear? I thought I had it just now. Hey, it doesn't show. Is this the right set? Yeah. Let me just pull out again the wheel of names. Just a moment. Getting my trusty. Okay, this is the one. Okay. Let's just get this out and run. So it's contest time. Let's see who's the winner. Okay, Razip. Answer the question for us. Razip, read the question and then try to answer for us.
So what is the key item that is typically missing from the information that the CSP shares about its service that allows for potential cloud customer to truly evaluate the service?
So these are the options.
Yeah.
Which do you think is the right answer?
Client-side penetration testing, results and reports, CSP lead, compliance status for its data center facilities, a detailed breakdown of the services and costs related to the CSP backend infrastructure, contract related to the external parties regarding the physical security of the data center facilities. There's only one right answer or multiple answers?
Only one. If ever there's multiple, they will say like all of the above and all that.
Usually, if we engage a cloud service provider, they will not give a detailed breakdown of the services and costs related to the CSP backend infrastructure. For example,
yes, that's right. You're correct.
Azure, Microsoft Azure, or I could tell you how much I pay for my electricity, my aircon, my servers, my so they don't give a breakdown.
Okay, very good, Razib. Very good explanation as well. Yeah. So again, the trick here is to know first of all, you need to know your cloud providers and what they normally do. If you haven't been dealing with one, it's good to get acquainted as well. Normally, they won't give this back-end infrastructure costs, right? Because that's their own side of the story. They will actually manage it. Otherwise, you also know how much markup they have, right? They charge you versus this much, and then they only spend so much. Yeah. Okay.
But can I ask? But why is it a key item for this case? Is it very important?
Yeah, it's important. I mean, but it's not being shared with you, right? So that's the thing.
But as a customer, I would not be interested to know all their detailed breakdown. At least, what are they charging me?
Well, that depends. So some may want to know. Of course, whether or not they share that is another story, right? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, for example, I'm quite curious as to what they do for their back end infra. Again, it depends. Maybe you're not into IT or what. So somebody may be curious as to what they do to that part on that side, right? Okay, that's why even those with sometimes they actually provide those tours, site tours, site visits, because you would like to learn more about how they maintain your own cloud services, right? Okay, good. Thanks for that, Razib and Sule. Yeah, again, sometimes in the exam, it's more of a deductive reasoning. Some of them you already know that they're being shared, so therefore the last one out is the one that's not being shared. Okay, so that's it for Unit 4. Let's move on to Unit 5. Okay, remember we have 12 units for this module, so we have to make it fast and fun in the meantime. So now we're going to talk about cloud governance framework. Okay, what are the governance frameworks out there? So these are examples. Again, may not be a comprehensive list. There's so many others out there, but these are the more popular ones, I would say. So they have the PCI SSC for the cloud computing guidelines, and the NIST 800-53. This is from the National Institute of Standards and Technology. And then the CSA, the Cloud Security Alliance Cloud Control Matrix. You can also have the ISO IEC 27017. And then you have the BSI, which is from Germany. And then you have C5 for this cloud-specific security control framework. Okay, so just take note of these so that you're familiar with what are the cloud security control frameworks that are out there. So the one earlier that I showed you, which I asked you to download, is the CCM, the Cloud Controls Matrix. Right, so that one is what we're going to use for this course as a reference, and that came from the Cloud Security Alliance, which this course is also co-built together with SACA and the Cloud Security Alliance. So here again, just to summarize what we've been talking about earlier, we needed trust, assurance, transparency, and accountability when it comes to our cloud service providers, right? So why? Because we need a lot of these to make sure that we can deal with them properly. And then of course the risks that are introduced by the cloud will somehow be minimized if we are in good terms with the cloud providers. Yeah. And then for testing effectiveness of these governance policies, how do we test, right? So we look at the cost, we look at the security side of things, and the business goals. Right, so these are just some examples. Again, how do you determine whether you want to go on the cloud as well? So that's more of a business decision, right? Because sometimes it doesn't make sense to go on the cloud if it's too costly, right? Maybe you just need a simple system. You can do it on-prem, and then you can run it on your own. Yeah, so you can, especially on those off-the-shelf products. So you can buy the license and then install it, and you can run. Especially if you're a small setup, most of the time is good enough. But then again, you have to look at the long term as well. If you foresee some growth in the future, and you have increased users, increased staff, maybe your current hardware is not good enough later on. So with the cloud, normally you do away with all these issues. Yeah, so because you don't have to ramp up your hardware, for example, you don't have to ramp up your network connectivity, internet connectivity. Yeah. Now, speaking of internet connectivity, actually, yeah, with the cloud, that's the only thing you have to make sure that it's guaranteed, right? You have to make sure you have very good internet connectivity, because without by being on the cloud, the only way to connect to them is through the internet. Yeah, so you have to make sure you have very good internet connectivity. Okay, so that's a must. And if you can make it redundant by having a few providers that you can bank on in case something goes down, because otherwise your operations will stop, right? If you're using cloud services. So you have to make sure your connectivity is always on when you need it. Okay, KPIs also are important. So these are some examples as per the particular column. So for cost management, you have forecast versus budget, and the usual financial KPIs that you look at, annual spending per project, and so on. Security is based on number of incidents. They can measure, as long as you can have a way to measure them. That's one way you can actually put in a KPI. For business goals, maybe you can go in terms of the cloud apps, but that's not a really finite thing, right? There can be so many cloud apps out there, but some of them merge it into one. So it depends on how you look at it. And maybe the other thing is average time to release new versions of solutions or software. That could be another KPI, because normally when you deploy things on premise, it may be a bit longer, or sometimes when you need to buy hardware from the vendor, it takes longer. Like say a new server, right? Yeah, so that process will take longer compared to the cloud, where you can actually have a new server or a new VM virtual machine in a matter of minutes. Yeah, just set it up quickly. Because for the hardware that you need to buy, it might not be available locally. You have to also ship it out. Yeah. Okay. So that would be some of the main advantages of cloud, because everything is as per subscription. So you need one, just sign up for it. Yeah. Okay. Good. Any questions so far? Let's proceed. Okay. So here, now let's check again. Let's call on our trusty wheel of names. Lam. Excuse me. Lam, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, read this for us and then give your answer.
The unique characteristics of the cloud include increased use of virtualization, relying more on third-party, highly connected platforms, all of the above. All of the
What's
above.
Your answer?
D.
All of the above. Yes, most likely. Yes, that's right. Thank you very much, Lam. Okay, so all of these are important. So it's basically all of the above, right? These are the characteristics of cloud. First of all, you have virtualization. They say virtualize. It's on a software level. Yeah. So something that was used to be physical became virtualized or run as a software already. Then you rely more on the third party, the cloud service provider. And then you have highly connected platforms, because they're all interconnected on their own environment, their own cloud environment. Okay, thanks a lot, Lam. So that's the end of Unit 5. Any questions so far? Okay, on trust, on security controls, governance. Okay, let's move on to cloud governance requirements. So what do you need to have cloud governance? So Unit 6, there's these frameworks that are there that you can use. So ISACA has COBIT, 2019, if I'm not mistaken. That's last time was COVID 5. Now it's the 2019 version. Then they have the so COVID stands for control objectives in IT. Yeah, so these are the different IT controls that you can have in your organization. Again, it's another long document, but you can go through it as more of a guide to see which controls you need for to manage your own risks in your own environment. Then you have the ISO 27001. This is for information systems. So if you're into cybersecurity, normally you'd be familiar with this. And then you have ITIL, normally for service management requirements. So for those who have no background in IT, I suggest you look at ITIL to read more about some of the best practices for service management, IT service management. So as a start, right? Of course, it's better to get your hands dirty, do some hands-on with actual technology. But yeah, I mean, in terms of best practices, at least having the knowledge is a first step. Okay. Of course, the different requirements would be as per the different standards or frameworks. They will have their own sets, right? So just know about these. And then in terms of operational requirements, you need to define your goals, set your SLA, and other specific requirements are there. We provide also your evaluation criteria. How do you evaluate your cloud providers? And then for internal SLA, this is important also when you have your chargeback models, right? So if you meet specific SLAs, and how do you measure also in terms of usage, right? So how do you know which department uses your cloud services more than others? Yeah. So when you have cloud, you want to govern it. You have to be able to measure it as well, right? So these are some of the things you need to look at. Does a cloud provider give you this information? Yeah. So because if you can create users inside your cloud, service, these users can be grouped into their own departments, right? And then maybe that's how you can do your chargeback model by having enough information on how much time or how much data they used and they logged in. So again, depends on how you want to do your chargeback. Normally, it's tied into the cost. How is the cost computed in your cloud? Normally, if it's by storage or by compute engine or compute timings. These are some of the things you can use to measure, and they can use it as a form to compute back for your chargeback model. And now you have these security requirements as well. So one of the top issues with cloud before was that people think it's not secure because you're giving it to a third party, which is true, right? So you don't just give your data to anyone, right? But at the same time, when you look at it, is your data even secure in your own premise? Yeah. So can you secure it much better than someone who has all the resources and all the, skills and technology behind it? Yeah, maybe not. The problem with the larger CSP, cloud service provider, is that they can also be bigger targets. Yeah? So those who want to attack or hack, they can just focus their efforts on these large CSPs, mainly because once they hit the jackpot, they have everything, right? They have different companies, info. So it's not just one company riding on that cloud service, right? It can be multiple thousands of companies, if not millions of companies using those services, and individuals as well. So even as an individual user, if you're using those services, they can get your information, they can get money out of it. So especially if you have credit card information, bank account information, these are some of the things that you try not to put in a cloud service, actually. But sometimes we don't have a choice, right? So those who are using some of the apps that are out there, sometimes they force you to put in your credit card info. Again, because you need to pay at the end of the day, but sometimes you may want to pay cash, you may want to pay through other means. But then again, it's more from their convenience sake. So they actually store your credit card information. But if you have the option, try not to save it. You just have to type it in every time. That is a more secure way of doing it, because then your information is not stored anywhere. So in case they get breached, at least they don't have your credit card info. Okay. So again, some of the precautions. It may have a certain level of inconvenience because you have to type it in. But then again, of course, you have to memorize it. Sometimes it's a challenge as well, memorizing your credit card info, including the CVV. Right? So these are some of the things you have to look at. Okay, so now we go the legal side of things, right? Anyone here has some legal background? So define your legal and regulatory requirements needs a lot of reading in terms of the contracts. Even though I'm not really a fan of all these contract legalese, it's a job that it comes with the job, right? So you need to know the contracts that you're pursuing. So basically, first of all, you have to know also the law. What is what are the things that you have to comply with in terms of the law? You have to understand it. You need to classify the data based on all these requirements. So by classifying the data, what does that do? Anyone? Victor? Yao Keng? What do you think? Yao Heng?
When you classify, you specify these data or documents, who can access or who has the level of access rights to access these documents.
Yeah. So basically, you need to classify so you can prioritize, right? And then you can also determine who has the proper access for that. That's right. So that's important, although it can be tedious as well because you have lots of data. So one of the things, how do you classify it in the first place, right? So it's not as easy as it looks. Then you have you need to establish provider contractual negotiation guidelines. This is again one of the do's and don'ts when you negotiate with your provider. Again, the experts would still be the legal team. So normally I would always bring in the legal team when it comes to all these. Then you have the provider evaluation criteria. How do you choose your providers? Again, it can be a standard set to make it easy for anyone who wants to use cloud services. And then you have to understand the requirements coming from contractual obligations. So again, the contracts are not delightful at times, but yeah, you still have to go through each and every one of them. At least look out for all the key clauses that you need to put. Of course, SLAs have to be spelled out when it comes to cloud. You also have the shared responsibility model. Make sure it's also spelled out properly. And then, of course, the termination clauses are there, plus a little bit also on what are the things that you want to look out for when the time comes that an actual incident happens, right? So what is your recourse? What are the liabilities that are there? Okay. So let's move on. Anyone here has a legal background? I was asking earlier. No one at all, huh? Okay. Yeah, I've seen some learners, some students actually shift from the legal side to IT as well. So maybe they want to specialize in legal IT. Yeah. Okay, now let's do a knowledge check. Let's go on our trusty tool. Okay, Yasmin. So this is a matching, right? So which one goes to where? So COBIT is Yasmin, are you there?
COBIT is, let's see, strategic. COBIT is matched to help organizations comply with numerous regulatory that relate to the security of information. ISO 27001 is procurement. Okay, I'm just reading across. Okay, I'm not giving the answers yet.
Yeah.
You have procurement, finance, ability to scale, reduce, leverage new technologies, reduce IT ownership, ITIL. Also organize.
So focus on one first.
Sorry?
Yeah, focus on, let's say, COBIT first, yeah.
COBIT, I'm thinking, is it A?
Nope.
Or is ISO A?
ISO is A. Okay.
ISO is A, okay.
Yes. Security is your keyword there. So ISO 27000 is all about security. That's why it's A. Yeah, so So COBIT is
Right.
what?
COBIT is skill.
The rest you can type in your answers in the chat if you want to
Okay.
see see how well you fare as well. Excuse me.
I'm thinking, is it B?
COBIT is B. Why do you say that?
Yeah.
Normally for COBIT is these are control
I'm
objectives in
trying
IT,
to,
right?
because I've seen ITIL before, so I'm trying to match.
So ITIL,
my
okay, well, let's focus on ITIL. What do you think about ITIL?
ITIL, I think it's more on the reduced IT overcapacity and
Yeah, so what ITIL is B, therefore COBIT is
COBIT
someone
is
wrote
C
already
then.
C. Someone drew C there. Yeah, so that's the answer. Okay, so that's right. So COBIT is C, ISO 27001 is A, and ITIL is B. Okay, good. Thank you very much. And those who are writing, yeah, that's good as well. And with that, let me clear your annotation now. Thanks, Yasmin. Okay, let's move on. So that's the end of Unit 6. We still have a long ways to go, but it's lunchtime. So let's come back at 1 o'clock. Okay, so enjoy your lunch, everyone. I'll be here for a while to answer your questions if you have any. Okay, see you at 1 o'clock. Bye. Enjoy your lunch. I'll be playing, sometimes for lunch, I play some videos. So you may want to stick around if you're doing nothing. I'll play some videos on security.